You got it? Okay.
I think.
Is that an extra? Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
okay.
We have plenty of extra.
Chris, was this yours, this one?
No, there were 3 on the table.
Oh, okay, got it.
All right, it's 6 o'clock, and in keeping with my tradition of starting on time, we'll start the board meeting. We don't have any visitors other than our IT people. I don't consider you guys visitors at this point. You're just part of the process. Reading of the GTCH mission statement. The school will provide equitable opportunities for all students to acquire an education that prepares them to be productive citizens, critical thinkers, and part of the global workforce utilizing employability skills. The minutes were sent out to you. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes?
Chad, second. Mary?
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Do we have any public input, Dot?
We do not.
We'll move right on to the principal's report. Did Uda get on yet? Okay, I'll text her.
I just checked my email to make sure she didn't mention something wrong with the link or anything. All right, so principal's report. Feel like it's a little. All right, daily operations. That is a visual of how we are feeling right now. That's the best one I could put on here for public live streaming to represent how we're doing. I updated Chris, but I don't think I updated everyone else. I updated the staff.
What?
You feel hard, it's hard to say, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Do you want me to say it for you?
Thank you.
Mark was injured over in the Middle East and had been flown home. He's doing better, and he'll 100% recover over time. And so, but he's home now and doing rehab.
Oh. God bless it.
Yeah, so that's how we're feeling.
Understandable.
Day to day, we've been doing all the things. So federal amendments were due. Obviously, it's budget season. Observations for all the teachers, strategic planning, handbook revision. Our part-time custodian left us abruptly, and so we have had a couple candidates interviewed. A couple of them was ready to offer it to one of them and have not heard back for the last 2 days. Not always the best sign. So we're hoping that that's just, I don't know, spring break, something. We have posted all of the positions for retirees. If we have 5 individuals on staff who have officially retired and chosen to come back to work, which the state allows, as long as it's in a critical needs area, which all of those are, and as long as you post the job and you're unable to find any other qualified candidate, which has been the case every year. But I always let them know that that's not, it's not a hoop to jump through. It truly is something that you really do have to not have found another qualified candidate who could do the job that they're doing to sign off and say that you've done all of those things. So all of our letters of agreement have gone out with the exception of the retiree positions because you cannot offer them that letter of agreement until May the 30th. when you've conducted interviews and determined there is no other candidate available for that position, and so then you can hire the retiree back for that next year. And they're aware of that. They're aware of that when they retire and are rehired, and we remind them at the beginning of the year, and then I remind them as well. We have meetings with them. I even let them know this year that we, speaks volumes for the school, had the largest applicant pool we've had since I've been here for every position except the special education and the facilities director, because those are just kind of oddities. But the math, the English, the social studies, triple the number of applicants that we typically get.
Oh, my goodness.
So, I mean, I think that speaks volumes for the school.
Sure does.
Student parent climate survey, that's due in a couple weeks, so we're gearing up to kick that off through town hall, and then doing all things ACT, SAT, and WIN testing. Staffing chart, got some discussions, and got some initial forecasts for per pupil funding, and so we've been really working on the budget and have some things to talk about related to that. And I apologize if I read this time because I did not send it out ahead of time. So nobody had a chance to review it because I, for the first time, did not send it out. I think this is our tentative schedule for board elections, is to do, we have 7 candidates, I believe is correct. And so the Meet the Candidate virtual meeting, we wanted to have Monday, March the 30th. We had originally said that we would do it either Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. I feel like of this week, but that would not be enough notice for everyone, so we'd like to do that on Monday. And then election templates ready to send via email for voting, and that voting would end on April 2nd. And of course, that timeline has been sent out. Development, we talked about last month's Charter Champions and the changes to that. And so the only announcement there is who is the Charter Champion, and there's some discussion about that, and let's not get the word this. The announcement has not gone out yet, but would like to have Reverend Dr. Johnson named as our Charter Champion for 2026 for all of those time, energy, effort, contributions, and all of those things.
You'd be very proud.
But Tyler is working on all of those things, that announcement for that. Okay. Finance update. We did have our finance committee meeting, and so Chad may have some notes from that. We did enter into a short-term agreement with Bryant at Triangle Construction. If you remember, that was for that last invoice, $13,000 per month, and so that first payment was made prior to spring break, so feeling much better about that. No penalty to pay in full once that loan is closed. And that $13,000 number was chosen because that was the least amount we were paying already, so it was part of the budget, so that made sense, and he was agreeable to that amount, so we felt good about that. The lease update over spring break, the Department of Admin attorney did finish the edits that they wanted to the lease, so that they're happy with it, because that's where the holdup was, and so that was sent to GTC over spring break. It was GTC spring break, so I'm certain she did not look at that until this week. I have not gotten that back yet, but that would have to go through her. And then my understanding is that Dr. Miller would look at that as well. They are both aware of the urgency and are up to speed on the situation. So initially she had said once she received it from Department of Admin to give her no longer than a week. So I plan to check with her end of day Thursday or Friday to see if we have those revisions ready, so we can let our attorneys know that we're ready to close. That is the last piece of the puzzle. And then those are the cash balances that we presented to the Finance Committee at our meeting. And then I have our upcoming dates, which are also on the board agenda as well.
Any questions of Rhonda? Thank you, Ms. Rhonda.
Thank you.
Dr. Rhonda. Chairman's report. Trying to think if there's anything special we had to deal with, Rhonda. Obviously, we had student disciplinary issues. We've had other issues. Obviously, personal issues on both sides. But we've been busy. I always tell Rhonda it's a good time when I don't talk to her every week, but that never happens. Usually 2 or 3 times at least. And I get looped in on a lot of parent emails who want to talk, want to be heard. So I get to do that. I get lucky enough to do that. So there's another thing I was going to say. It'll come to me later on. Any questions of me on the chairman's report? Okay, we did not have an executive committee meeting in the meantime. Usually we're never going to have those unless we absolutely need to. Chad, Finance Committee.
Yeah, Finance Committee met last week. Most of what we talked through was on that update that Rhonda gave, so appreciate that. There are a couple policies we need to look at. I think Bob's going to send us over some stuff in the next Finance Committee meeting. We'll look through those. The early college handbook, I think, needs to be looked at as well by the Finance Committee, and that's around the splitting of tuition and book cost, just because those are going to be a pretty big financial burden for the school here moving forward, with no funding coming in from the state for those things.
Yeah, I have set up on my side, set up a conversation with somebody in Columbia to talk about that. They might have sway, so.
Sure.
It's going to cost me lunch, but it's going to be worth it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's it from us for now.
All right, thank you, Chad. Any questions of Chad before we move on? Uda is she? Uda,
She just jumped on.
Yes, I just joined.
do you have a secretary's report?
Nope, I don't have a report.
Okay. Administrative governance, Bob.
We're still working on reviewing policies that are 5 years old or older. And I don't have anything more to say than what's on the agenda.
Any questions of Bob? Academic excellence, Mary.
No meeting, no report.
Uda, appeals.
Yes, I have a report. We have an appeal last month, and the appeals committee had the decision by the principal. We agreed with her decision.
Okay. Did y'all hear that?
No.
There was an appeal and they upheld the decision of the administration after the appeals hearing. Any other questions of Uda? Okay, facilities, Chris.
Yeah, no issues, no report.
Yeah, not yet. I got a big one for you coming up. Development committee, Kelly.
Yes, the development committee met and we have 2 questions that we'd love to get some clarity from the board on. The first one is we'd like to get some clarity on short 1 to 2 year and long 5 to 10 year range goals and plans, which would influence the development committee. And then we would also like to ask for clarity on the role of the development director, the duties and job description as it relates to this subcommittee and how that all should be managed.
Okay. I will say we are. Some of the 1 to 5 and the longer term goals would have to come from Rhonda, but a lot of it's going to come out of facilities because obviously facilities are biggest expense that we have. And then obviously the covering of college tuitions, all those kinds of things. Make sure we have backdrops for that.
I think a lot of that will be answered in the strategic planning.
That's what I want to hear about.
Because the strategic plan is up for renewal this year.
Okay.
And so we have already solicited parents to serve on that strategic planning committee. And so development is one of the areas where there is a strategic goal that you then work towards. And so obviously, once we have the committee dates for all of the separate pieces, the team is made up of administrators, teachers, parents, other staff members like the director of development would serve on that as well. And then it's presented to the board for discussion and then approval.
Is that
So it's good
what's
timing.
Yeah, what's the timing on that in general? Do you do that every year?
5 years.
5 years, okay,
Yes.
so it's strategic planning every 5 years.
So is there a current one?
There is a current one. It was for 2021 to 2026.
Okay.
Is there a spot where we can review that? I'm sure it's posted somewhere. Or,
It should be on our new website.
okay,
It's one of those, we're checking the boxes to make sure all the things are on there, but if not, I can make a note to send it to you. It's-
yeah, if that can be sent
Yes.
out, that might be really helpful.
And Rhonda, can you have Tyler get with Kelly on what her job duties are and functions? Is that what you were asking for?
Not really. I think it's more, I think what we're looking for is more from administration on how, whose duties, what job description is handled by the development, the director of development, and what
Does she want the board to?
what should the board, how should we set that all up? And we just need to probably formalize that a little bit so there's good clarity there.
Yeah, I think there's unclarity around what the subcommittee is trying to solve.
Right.
Right?
And how to do it.
And how to do it, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And part of that was written in when we voted on it by design, because we needed to be redone from what it was. And that's part of it, was the suggestion to make it a board committee and then to figure it out. Now, we knew that was going to be part of the process. It was
Okay.
a lot of clouds because we didn't know exactly what direction. And now we're going through that path and we're going to find clarity through that. But that was the whole purpose when we voted on it. It was very broad, open, unclear, just because it needed to have something put with it.
Yeah, so I think what it's done so far is kind of sat with the fundraising kind of activities, where I don't think development, right, and what we talked about in the group is I don't think development is fundraising. Fundraising should help development get to the goals, right, but I think development helps define your goals, define your strategy. I don't know if the school wants to grow over the next 5 years, or if it wants to shrink over the next 5 years, or if it wants to stay the same, but do we have that defined, right? And if that's what we're gonna get, then I think that's exactly where this subcommittee helps too, maybe, but, yeah.
Well, also you had hired Tyler at the same time, and so her role was getting figured out as well. And so maybe now that that's been in place, there could be some clarity on that committee that exists. Is it part of this subcommittee or is that separate? Is there another one? How we want to, and we need input from administration and the board on how that should work.
Any other questions? I have no real guidance right now until we got to get information.
Yeah.
To have
Yeah,
guidance.
that's our report.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions of development?
Or suggestions.
Yeah.
Or suggestions?
Or suggestions.
I'm sure that anybody who would like to volunteer for that committee I'll be glad to make an agenda item at the next meeting to put you on the committee. So, items to refer to the principal for review, and this is going to develop actually two groups. And the state of South Carolina has currently the House approved $75 million for facilities for rural schools and charter schools. Originally it was going to be $120 million, but it's $75 million. I would like us to get a piece of that. So developing the principal along with facilities to come up with a list of items and what the cost approximately is going to be, so we know to start figuring out, yes, we can get $2 million or we can get $500,000. What are the projects that we can apply those funds to? I'm hoping it's a recurring thing so that the charters and the rural schools can catch up on their facilities. But let's look at that. Needs to be developed. Obviously, maybe not this second because they haven't approved the budget, but definitely being worked on over the summer. So,
Sorry, were those grants? Are they loans?
no, they're grants.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not, the whole loan process, I already vented my frustration with people on the loan process.
Oh, yeah, the
Almost 2
fact
years.
that it's gonna cost us more. Yeah.
So do we need to vote on that, Bob? I went ahead and right into discussion. We don't need to vote to send it to the principal, right? It's only to the board, to the committee.
We have voted, I don't know that we're required to. Tell me, what now? What's the proposal?
It's really, I'm sending to the principal to.
Oh, no,
To handle, making a list for the facilities for that money that's
no.
going to
we
be
don't have
available.
to. In fact, one of the policies gives the principal the authority to do that.
I want them to start working on it, so that's why it's on there.
And interestingly enough, that grant is a development thing.
Yeah.
So like if once you guys decide what you want, that technically should go either to Tyler as the director of development or subcommittee, I don't know. Again, we don't.
Is it not a subcommittee, is it just a principal job or is that a subcommittee job?
Which thing?
The
The facilities.
developing a
Yeah.
list of facility projects that you would want.
Well, that's why I have the facilities committee working.
Right.
Okay, so is it going to the facilities committee or is it going to the
It's
principal?
going to both to work on it.
Work on it together.
Oh,
Because it's
very,
going to take both of them because she's going to have projects that he's not privy to and they all got to be included, so.
And that's also like a long-range planning kind of thing too. So it really
be in that strategic plan.
strategic plan. It might, maybe there's something already in there for the 26th year.
No.
No. So our strategic plan ends as we're building the next one. There's no overlap, basically.
No, there's no overlap.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have like a month and an end date.
Yeah.
It just, it's a year on it.
Okay.
You guys, you two get together, committees and all that. And I'm sure she's going to have teachers drawn in too.
Oh, for the strategic plan, yes. We already have them on there.
Items to be referred to board committees. First one is Development Committee to recommend changes, direction, and removal of the committee, which is what we talked about before. Doesn't have to be removed, but that's what you're talking about. We need to have, we're sending that to you again, formally.
Okay.
So
What does that mean?
send it to you formally. It gives you the power to, the committee to kind of,
Recommend changes?
recommend the changes.
Yeah.
Because at one time we said, do we even need to have a committee when you
Yeah.
asked me? So that's why that part's in there. So I will need a motion on that to send it to committee. Okay. In a second. Bob, any discussion on that? As I said, this is really to give you the leeway to do what we've just been talking about.
Okay.
So
Sounds good.
we're codifying that because we're supposed to do it that way.
Okay.
So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Finance Committee, review changes to DA, DB, DBG, DD, DDA, DFG, DG from the Governance Committee. The Governance Committee has reviewed them. Now the finance, if they're finance related, they need to go to Finance Committee. So do I have a motion to approve that?
I'll motion those movements to the finance committee.
All right, I get a motion from Chad, to have a second from Mary, it looks like.
Yes.
Any other discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Well, those will come through.
Abstentions. Okay, I need you to turn off, is Uda the only one on there?
I'm here.
I know, is Uda the only one on?
She's not on the live stream, she's on Zoom.
Okay,
We've got it separate.
okay, if you'll stop the live stream for now. Wait till we vote to go into executive session. Do I have a motion to move into executive session?
I make a motion.
Do I have a second? Thank you, Shonda. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, now you can cut the live stream. Personnel issues. approval of the sick leave bank policy, second reading. It was approved unanimously to committee. We've approved it the first reading. Any other discussion on the approval of the sick leave bank policy?
Nothing changed since the last reading.
No, I haven't gotten any amendments or changes. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Announcement, Friday is Senior Project Presentation Day, which, if you have a senior, it's a big day. But it's a fun day if you get a chance to come and sit in. I've enjoyed every time I've gotten to visit and see kids, I call them kids, but the young adults present their material. So it's fun to see what they've created. So that's on the 27th, which is this Friday. Jungle Book performance is the 17th and 18th in the Black Box Theater at 7 p.m. Our next board meeting is 4/21 at 6 p.m. Charter Champions is the 23rd of April, which is a Thursday night. This board meeting's on Tuesday, it makes sense. The Spring Arts Showcase, if you've never been to one, they're a lot of fun to see what these our young artists create. And that's on the 30th. The Band Strings and Arts Showcase on May the 6th. As you see, we're getting to the year, see what our students have produced throughout the year. That's at 6 o'clock. That's also in the SLC. Our senior luncheon is May the 7th at the Point Set Club at noon. So make sure you'll be getting an invite. Make sure that you let the person who you're supposed to respond to know that you're going to be there. So,
I went to that last year, it was so good.
I guess,
If you haven't gone, go.
I think you haven't because you're new. I think everybody else has been to at least one. If it wasn't for your own kid as a board member.
It was inspirational.
It's a lot of fun.
And then graduation is in Timmons Arena at Furman, and it starts at 4:30. You are to be there by 3:30. So we're gonna make sure that we all handy.
I gotta
Is
ask.
May
How
19th
much
a
did they
board
charge
meeting
us?
day?
How much was the final bill for Furman? 11, 13?
11,000.
11,000.
Jeez. I'm sorry, that really
So,
gets me. Because when I think back,
No, it's May 12th. I got it on my calendar.
11,000.
I think there's a board meeting on our calendars for May 19th, but I think it needs to be moved to May 12th.
no, it's on May. We already voted for it back in January, February to move it to the 12th.
Oh, okay. May just be on my calendar wrong.
Yeah, well, it's in my calendar on the 12th because that's how I put it in. I had to check it the other day to
Oh, I
make sure I
see.
was good.
Isn't, yeah.
Yeah, because I noticed that and we like, how did we all miss that when we did the calendar? So, and that is all that I have. Our next, we're not going to adjourn quite yet. The only action we have is adjournment after we get out of our second executive session. I need Rhonda not to leave. You need to leave the room. I need Dot to leave the room. IT, you can go ahead and shut off live stream. But you need to stay around so Bob and I can talk to you after we get out of the executive. So we'll meet you over at your office or wherever you think you're going to be.
Can be wherever.
So we're going to have about a 2-minute break so we get cleaned up and then we'll have our meeting.
Okay.
So
And IT is done?
he's done.